Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Gia. I am a 26-year-old lady who lives in my mom's basement, and today I wanted to talk about all of the books that I read in January. I'm going to be real with you right now. I did not finish everything on my very ambitious January TBR. The February one is even more ambitious, so I don't really know what I thought I was getting myself into when I made January ambitious as it is. I still need to finish Last Sacrifice for the Vampire Academy Revisiting YA episode part 2, and then I also need to read The Poison Season, which if you saw in a prior video, I swapped out the Luminaries for The Poison Season because I did not properly plan ahead, and the Luminaries is on way too long of a hold at the library. So I swapped it out for The Poison Season because it was of a similar length and it was pulled from the same list of books that I was trying to accomplish reading. So there's that. At the point when I'm recording this right now, it is Wednesday night on the 1st of February. So I'm a little bit late, but I did start reading a February read today, literally today at work. I started it on my Kindle app, and I am 71% of the way through that. So we're already off to a great start. Okay, so anyway, January. So we started off strong with Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. First of all, I want to apologize because as a result of Hellbent coming out, I've seen a lot of content about this book, and I have distanced myself from content written by Bardugo because I have not read it myself. So I would like to actually start reading her backlog. I haven't read Six of Crows. I haven't read Shadow and Bone. Trust me, it's all part of the journey, believe me. But if I'm pronouncing your name wrong, I'm so sorry. Is it Lee or Lay? Because I have a friend whose name is Leia who spells it the same way but with an A at the end. So I'm so sorry. I'm just going to refer to the author as Bardugo from now on because that I can at least pronounce. I rated Ninth House 3.5 stars. I liked it, but it just it was not what I expected. I really got myself into this book and I was like staring dumbfounded into space for a little while because I was like, what are my ears listening to? Why was I not warned ahead of time? There was a massive list of trigger warnings that I wish somebody warned me about. Finding out after the fact that Ninth House kind of caused a little bit of a stir on Twitter for the amount of trigger warnings that it needed. I'm a little bit late to the party, so sorry. The party is over and gone, and I'm finding out about it later on the next day at school. So I went into this not expecting what I received, and I was a little scared, not gonna lie. I also felt like the pacing was really slow, but that's a little bit besides the point. I think I just wasn't used to Bardugo's writing, which, by the way, her writing is awesome. However, I would be lying if I said that my investment wasn't all stuffed into the last quarter of the book because the first 75% of it was a slow crawl, and I was listening to it at 1.7x speed on Audible, and I was like, okay, Miss Girl, when does it get good? However, the last 25% of that book absolutely blew me away. So goddamn good. And I was so invested that I was glad I read this book right before Hellbent came out, so I didn't have to wait 3 years like the rest of you. Anyway, 3.5 stars for Ninth House. Following to Hellbent, 4.5 stars. That shit was immaculate. It took all of the action and investment that I had in the Ninth House in the last quarter of Ninth House, and then it just plowed right into Hellbent, and it just kept it going the whole time. I was just like, oh my god, what's happening? The energy experience of Hellbent was just like a night out at college. Like you're out for a night on the town, and it's just like you woke up hungover and you're ready to go out again, and you just keep going and going for a week straight. It's like spring break, but it just gets more chaotic and there's demons involved. I cannot wait for the third one. I gave it 4.5 stars. It was awesome. Next book I read was Monsters Born and Made by Tanvi Berwa. I actually just finished editing and uploading a video all about this book. It'll go up on, I believe, the 8th of February, which is a week from now. So it'll be up next Wednesday, but it's a whole like 20-ish minute video dedicated to this. I could best describe this book as Hunger Games meets The Selection meets Mario Kart, and you'll understand when you watch my video on it next week. Besties, the girls do be racing. Okay, so Monsters Born and Made is about a society in which there is a two-caste system where there are the renters and the landers, and there is a chariot race that happens every 4 years called the Glory Race, and this year is the 150th Glory Race. So Coral, our main character, her name is Coral Hunter, and her family's main occupation is to hunt. They see why I said selection vibes. A very specific aquatic animal that, although in my head felt like a horned walrus, when you look at the glossary, they're like bipedal water horse dinosaurs that are also antlered. So I just kept thinking about that scene in Jurassic Park 3 with the Spinosaurus in the river, but the Spinosaurus had antlers and it was also venomous and it could pull a chariot. Anyway, it was not a miss. The book was not a miss. It was okay. I rated it 3 stars. I think that it is promising. I think what the downfall of this book is that, and I'm not trying to discourage anybody from reading it, I think the downfall of this for me is that it was basically 2 books in one, in which it was telling a Hunger Games derivative Mario Kart story, but then also it was telling this really intricate tale about classism and privilege and revolution that I wanted it to tell that. I wanted it to tell that story. I wanted it to be a little bit more serious, and I felt like it wasn't. I felt like the narrative was all over the place. I wasn't sure if I was supposed to be having fun on this little adventure or if I was supposed to be learning something. And there's a healthy balance of both, but like it was very unclear as to what was the true purpose as to why I was there in the first place on that journey. I really wanted that second story about classism and privilege and revolution and race, and I wanted more of that. The next book that I read in January, finally, it took me a long time to finish it because it was 700 goddamn pages, is A Court of Wings and Ruin. Sarah J. fucking Marathon, you got me again, you bitch. I was going to really go in on her this time with the amount of time she said vulgar gesture, the amount of time she said male, female, like anything that we could consider mass-isms. I was really going to go in on her this time because I've read 2 of her books now. I know what her writing style is like. I've already criticized her writing style multiple times, even though A Court of Mist and Fury is fucking fire. Anyway, I honestly thought that this book was dragging at about the 30% mark, but that was honestly just because I was depressed, because I read the last 70% in 2 days and 40% of it was in 1 day. So like, god damn it, Sarah, you got me again. Yes, it's a meme. Yes, it's ridiculous. Yes, Farah is a little bit of a Mary Sue. Yes, Rhysand is kind of a cringe example of a feminist king. He's the blueprint, but oh my god, I had a good time. I had fun. And you know what? Sometimes at the end of the day, I just want to have fun. I'm not always here to critique things. Does she have problems? Yeah. Was the more coming out scene bad? Oh, yeah. Oh, the fuck yeah. But I think what is important is that you recognize that and go forward with that criticism, and you try to find media that does it better. Anyway, Sarah, you got me again. I rated it 4 stars. The last 2 books in January that I read were written by Rochelle Mead. They were Blood Promise and Spirit Bound, because I am doing my Vampire Academy reread. I will be absolutely fucking honest with you guys. This is about 950-ish pages of book, if not more. I read these in 2.5 days. I need to get a fucking hobby, basically. I mean, this is my hobby. I have the hobby. This is it right here. You're watching it. You're watching me doing my hobby. But, you know, they still do kind of slap. I hate to say it. Why is every 4th book in a 6-book arc the weakest? I just want to know why. Because I don't know why, but I put Blood Promise down. And I thought to myself, a term I am coining, Goblet of Fire syndrome. This book was underwhelming as hell. Blood Promise is the weakest link. out of all of the books in Vampire Academy, much like I think Goblet of Fire is the weakest link. Except for the graveyard scene. That's besides the point. Also, another fourth book in a 6-book series that I could bring up that is the weakest link is hold on, I don't remember what the name of the fucking book is. City of Fallen Angels. City of Fallen Angels. I never remember the names of her fucking books. I will let you in on a decades old memory of Gia. So, okay, I plan to do a reread of The Mortal Instruments, even though The Infernal Devices is vastly superior. We'll get to that when we get there. But I distinctly remember being in like my junior year or senior year of high school, back when I was still reading for fun. And I remember reading City of Fallen Angels. And I was like, this book is pointless. Because at the end of City of Glass, I gotta remember these books in order or I'm gonna give myself fucking whiplash. Anyway, I finished City of Glass. It was the end of the first arc of the series. They defeated the big bad. And then what was it? They defeated Sebastian, and then in the beginning of the fourth book, he was brought back to life by Lilith, right? And he was like he was brought back to life by her. I'm going to have to fact check this later, but like, I think that's what it was, that Sebastian was defeated and everything was great and fine and awesome and woo, now Valentine, we just have to take care of Valentine, right? I think. I don't remember. Anyway, and then in the fourth book, surprise, Sebastian's back because Lilith just had to get involved. And I was like, why is this here? I will probably do a proper revisitation of this, but like, I really need to dive into this theory that the fourth book in a 6-book series is always the weakest link. The reason why I think it's the weakest link is that Rochelle Mead spends a quarter of a 450-page book talking about what happened in the first 3 books. And that was fucking unnecessary. This book I don't know if Rochelle Mead was getting paid by word or by page back in 2007, but girl, this book could have been 100 pages shorter. And I don't often say that about a book, but that book could have been 100 pages shorter. Now, Spiritbound, heavy disagree, but we'll get back to that. Blood Promise. So, way too much revisiting of the first arc of the first 3 books. There was way too much of the kidnapping part. I felt very icky about the whole Rose and Strigoi Dimitri dynamic. I didn't like that. It felt very 365 days. I understand why that part is important to the story. I just wish that it was shortened, placed sooner in the story, and then moved on from and gone back to other parts of the story, because I don't think it should have gone on for as long as it did. And then there was just a lot of mental gymnastics, literally. Rose was doing one-hand back handsprings in her brain to get into Lissa's, like every other chapter, even though she said, oh, I need to leave her alone. Like, I'm on my own journey. I shouldn't be worried about her. And then she was just like, okay, but I'm really jealous if she's making new friends. Put the psychic link down. Put it down. What I wanted I wanted the Strigoi Dimitri part to be pushed up, and I wanted it to end. I wanted Rose to escape at like the halfway mark, and then I wanted Rose to go back to school and only be gone for like a month. She was only gone for like a month or 2. I want her to go back to school, and that's when all of the like Avery Lazar nonsense happens, because it would be no mental gymnastics besides them just being at the school together, because that would make the most sense. Because that would make a little bit more sense, other than just Rose jumping in and out of Lissa's head all the time, and Adrian being in and out of their heads, and Adrian being in and out of her dreams all the time. Because I understand what it was supposed to do. It was supposed to emphasize the distance that Rose was away from Lissa and Adrian, but like, it was a lot. I was exhausted. I was getting psychic whiplash. I was like, can we stop? Can we have a face-to-face conversation for once? I thought it would be more worthwhile to have like all of the catty infighting happening in person, because then it would be like Avery was compelling Lissa to do weird things, and then it would put a wedge in between Rose and Lissa in real life, and they would fight, and then Rose would figure it out, and da-da-da, and they're all in person. They're all in person. I felt like that would be so much more concise and easy to understand. But then at the same time, because Rose would have escaped from Dimitri at the halfway mark in the book, he could have started to send her letters at that point. So she could have started to get more and more like paranoid and shit. So I understand like it ends on a great cliffhanger to have his first letter be sent at the very end of the book. Be like, surprise bitch, but you thought you saw the last of me. But like, I thought that would have been better that way. I felt like it would have been a much more concise story. Anyway, I rated it 3 stars. Spiritbound was a great improvement. I rated it 4 stars because it wasn't as good as the first or third one, because those are the best. I'm just gonna make a very bold prediction that the first, third, and sixth books are going to be my 5 stars out of the 3, and we're gonna have like 3 books be 5 stars and the others be 3 and 4. So anyway, Spiritbound has a lot of action, and it picks up the plot and the pace from Blood Promise. The only thing I didn't like was the prison break. If you know, you know. I also think that it brought the stakes to the highest they could possibly be. I think it was at the very end of the book when Rose was like, you know, a year ago we were coming back to St. Vladimir's Academy, and my biggest concern was like whether I was gonna be awake in time to have practice with Dimitri in the morning, and a year later I'm falsely accused for murdering the queen awaiting trial. But I think another thing that I really love about Spiritbound so much is that we receive a lot of emotional intelligence from primarily male characters, and to find that is so goddamn rare. I think Rochelle Mead does a really good job at discussing topics that are really, really sensitive for a younger audience. Like in the first couple of books, she discusses depression, self-harm, and going to therapy in a very positive way to show that it is okay, it is acceptable, it is, good to seek help for yourself, which is something that during that time was not exactly common. But I think another thing that she does really well here is that she displays a profound amount of emotional intelligence in Dimitri and in Adrian, because Adrian is saying to Rose, like, yeah, it sucks being your boyfriend, knowing that you're out there trying to find the cure for the undead, to cure your ex-boyfriend and bring him back to life. But I also understand that he was your first love and that you'll always love him, and that if you have the chance to save him, even if it means you're not with him anymore, I would understand why you would want to do that, and I support you in doing so. And then he also says, I understand why him coming back is confusing for you, because you will always love him. So, like, you put yourself in a situation where you're saving somebody that you'll always love, even if it doesn't work out anymore, and then you're still going to have conflicting feelings after the fact because, you loved them. And he is just so empathetic and sensitive, and Rose doesn't fucking deserve him, because he gave her like a credit card without limits, and she's just been blowing it this whole time. I want to know if his parents have even looked, because girl, you're taking advantage of him. And then Dimitri is just feeling so much remorse and grief for what he did in Blood Promise, which he should, because what he did was fucked up in every sense of the word. So he feels as though that being away from Rose is honestly the best thing for her, is to put as much distance between her as possible, because he doesn't believe that he deserves her forgiveness or deserves to be in her life in any capacity. And like, is that sad? Yes. But like, is it understandable? Also, yes. Anyway, I gave Spiritbound 4 stars. It was awesome. I rambled on about Vampire Academy for way too long, but anyway, I need to get started on Last Sacrifice and The Poison Season. The book that I am currently reading and will probably finish tonight, that means I will have read it in a single day, is The Fine Print by Lauren Asher. I can't put this book down. I read 26% while I was at work, and then I read to 71% before I ate dinner and I started doing other things and then recorded this video. I'm going to end this recording and I'm going to get right back to reading it on my Kindle, because I cannot put it down. I honestly want to pick up the second book like ASAP, because it's on Kindle Unlimited, but I have to stop myself because I am reading other things. But I also know that the third book is coming out soon. Oh my god, the final offer came out, bitch. Yes, the final offer came out yesterday. Oh, okay. Well, now I gotta read them all in a marathon. So thanks for that, Goodreads. Okay, so I guess my reads for February are going to be a little chaotic, but they're going to be fun. We're going to have fun, guys. We're going to have a great time. February TBR is, here we go, the fine print, terms and conditions, and the final offer, because I am a glutton for punishment. Next up, we got Foul Lady Fortune, The Hawthorne Legacy, Queen of the Tearling, Kingdom of the Wicked, Throne of Glass, Between Wrath and Mercy, The Cruel Prince, The Atlas Six, and Den of Vipers. So, and Last Sacrifice and Poison Season. I'm gonna go get started on all that. So, it's gonna be great. I think this is going to be my best reading month of 2023 because I don't think I'll be able to do this again if I can accomplish it. If you made it to the end of this video, thank you so much for hanging out with me. If you'd like to find me anywhere else, you can find me on Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram. I stream twice a week, sometimes on Twitch. I streamed yesterday, and I'm going to stream tomorrow. That's a schedule, right? Okay, so yay! Remember to drink water and be nice to each other and exude kindness and empathy with everything that you do. And I will see you all in the next video. Bye!